am Jill Baird. Welcome if you're new here for the first time. Today I have a very gentle yoga flow for the low back, opening up the hips and opening up the shoulders, which a lot of times contributes to low back pain. The only thing you need for this practice is a mat and some space around you. Go ahead and roll out your mat and meet me on your back. So carefully come down to lie on your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Keep your tailbone flat on the mat. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Fill up with breath. And an open mouth exhale. Relax your shoulders. Again, deeper, fuller inhale, noticing your belly lifting in the direction of your knees. And an open mouth exhale as your low back presses into the mat and your belly button draws as far away from the knees as it will go. Let's do that one more time. Deepest, fullest inhale yet. Bring your attention to your belly button and notice how close it gets towards your knees. And then again, open mouth, exhale, empty out as that low back presses into the mat and the belly button pulls away from the knees. You can continue to take open mouth exhales, or if Ujjayi breath is in your practice, seal your lips closed. And continue to take those nice, deep, expansive inhales with sealed lips. And those powerful exhales with the lips sealed and a slight constriction in the back of the throat to create an audible ocean-like sound with each exhale. On your next inhale, go ahead and blink your eyes open. And we're going to begin to stir the pot. So we're just going to turn some circles with our knees towards the right. You can separate your knees a little bit if that feels better, or you can have your knees in closer. You can experiment with what feels good and what doesn't. And you can experiment with how quickly you move or how slowly you move. And then go ahead and come back to center. We're going to lengthen the left leg, flex the toes back towards the knee, and rest the back of the leg on the mat. Stay active in that left leg. Then flex the right toes back towards the knee and guide that right knee out around the rib cage and then back up in the direction of your right armpit. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, use your left hand to come into a gentle twist. So that left hand is going to gently guide the right knee over towards the left. Your right arm is going to be extended out straight or bent like a goalpost, and most likely it's your right big toe that comes to the mat on the left side. Your gaze can be up towards the ceiling, or you can lift your head and then bring your right temple, right ear to the mat to gaze out towards the right. Don't wrench anything here. We just want to feel a nice little stretch in the low back. And on an exhale breath, use your core. Bring both knees gently back to center. Hug them in. And then this time we're going to take those hip circles in the opposite direction. So towards the left for me, because I went towards the right the first round. Inhaling as the knees come away from the chest and exhaling to bring them back. And then those circles can be as big or as small. Just depends on what feels good in your low back. And then the next time around, bring the knees back into the chest. Lengthen the right leg. Flex the toes back towards the knee. Imagine that you're pressing the heel towards the wall in front of you. Flex the left toes back towards the knee. And then guide the left knee out and around the rib cage and in towards the armpit. Check in with that breath, make sure that it's slow and steady. And then on an exhale, we're going to come into a twist. The right hand is going to guide the left knee over towards the right. Probably the left big toe is going to find the mat. And then you can either extend that left arm out straight or bend it like a goalpost. And then maybe you shift your gaze out towards the left if you did so on the opposite side. Hollow your belly,
pull your belly button in and up and just feel that gentle stretch in your low back. This is a bit of a chest opener here too, on the left side. And then with an exhale breath, come back to center. And this time we're going to take a few rock and rolls, the length of our spine. Being careful not to come onto the back of the head. And then after 3 or 4, we're going to come up into a tabletop pose. I'm going to shift directions here. So shoulders stacked over wrists, hips over knees, and let's come into some cat-cows. Drop your belly, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze, cow pose. And then exhale, cat. Tuck, round and curl. Pull the belly button back towards the spine, chin in towards the chest. Tailbone extends up towards the ceiling, shoulder blades drop back towards your buns, gaze lifts, cow pose. And then exhale, cat pose. Come back to a neutral spine. We're going to do some controlled articulated rotations with the hips. So the left, or the right knee rather, is going to bend, stay bent, and the heel is going to come up towards the ceiling. Then we're going to open up that hip, bring the knee out towards the right, knee back towards the mat, and then up again towards the ceiling. Inhaling as it comes down and exhaling as we press up. Just working on some strength and mobility in this right hip, being sure not to fall over towards the left. So our core is engaged a little bit. And then the next time we come back to center, we're going to move in the opposite direction. So the knee lifts out to the side like that fire hydrant move. Then the heel is up towards the ceiling, and the knee comes back down towards the mat. Let's do 2 more of those. Open to the side, heel to the ceiling, knee to the mat. 1 more. Out to the side, to the ceiling, and to the mat. Go ahead and bring the knee back down to the mat. We're going to extend that leg straight back out behind us, tuck the toes, and just gently shift forward and back. And the next time you come forward, you're going to lift the right leg, and you're going to set the right toes over to the left, coming into a C shape. So we're shortening the distance between our left ribs and our left hip. And we're opening up the right side body. A lot of times tight muscles in the side body here, can't do it without falling, contribute to low back pain. So just gaze back over that left shoulder for the inside of the right heel. And then go ahead and come back to center. And let's come into a child's pose just to give our hands and our wrists a break. So knees wide, big toes to touch. Hips back on the heels, and you can lift the fingertips if that feels good. And then let's go ahead and thread that right arm underneath the left. So coming to rest on the outside of the right shoulder and the right temple. And then guide that left underarm down towards the mat. If you'd like, you can come into a little bit deeper of a shoulder opener for the left side, and you can come into a half bind, tucking those left fingertips at the right hip crease and lifting that left shoulder up towards the ceiling. This feels so good in my low back. And then go ahead and bring the left hand back by the face. Go ahead and peel that right arm under, back into your child's pose, and then come back up into a tabletop position. Flow through some more cat-cows, and I want you to focus on your tailbone here. So cow pose, tailbone lifts, collarbone spread wide, gaze is up. Cat pose, exhale, tuck the tailbone under, guide it in the direction of the mat, and then you can gaze back towards your belly button. Inhale, cow pose, tailbone lifts, belly drops, palms pull back. And exhale, cat pose, tailbone tucks under, press the mat away. Inhale back to a neutral spine, and let's take those cars, the hip cars, controlled articulated rotations on the left. Squeeze the left glute, press the heel up towards the ceiling, then the knee opens towards the left, and the knee comes in the direction of the mat. Squeeze the glute, exhale, press the heel towards the ceiling. Keep that engagement in the left glute, knee opens to the side. Inhale to the mat. One more time. Exhale, lift, open to the side, and then inhale to lower. And then we'll switch directions. Squeeze the glute, exhale, knee opens to the side, doing our best to keep our shoulders and our hips squared to the mat, not swaying from side to side, so our core is engaged a little bit here. And then let's do one more. And of course, the right glute is firing as well to keep us stable. And then bring the knee back down, extend that left leg, tuck the toes. Bring the heel towards the earth, feel that stretch in the calf. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, press back and stretch. It's not like a massive press, it's a very gentle press. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and then as you exhale, drop those left toes over to the right. So again, we're shortening this distance between the bottom ribs and the hip on the right, which is opening up the left side body. Gaze back over the right shoulder for the inner left heel, and just feel that amazing opening down the left side body. And then go ahead and bring the knee back underneath the hip, and then let's come back into that child's pose. So maybe you can bring your knees a little bit wider this time, and maybe you can shimmy your buns in between your heels just a little bit more. Bring your forehead to the mat, tent up onto the right fingertips, and thread the left arm underneath the right. Drop the right underarm, armpit towards the mat, and feel that nice opening in the back of the shoulder. So you can stay here, or if you'd like to feel a little opening in the front of the right shoulder, you're going to take that right arm behind your back, and you're going to tuck the right fingertips into the left hip crease. Pull the right shoulder open. Don't force it, and you don't want it to be painful. Just gently guide it open. And then you can gaze up towards the ceiling over that right shoulder, or you can gaze out towards the right. And then go ahead and bring the right hand back to the mat by your face. Give a little press into it. Unthread the left arm. Re-extend the left arm long. Maybe you come up onto those fingertips and just kind of rock your shoulders from side to side. And then we're going to make our way into a downward facing dog. So come back through a tabletop, tuck your toes, draw your hips back towards your heels, and then lift your hips up and back into that downward facing V. Upside down V, rather. And then just take a few pedals here with your feet, bending deeply into one knee as the opposite heel comes towards the mat. And if this is too much, you can come into a child's pose. You can stay in a child's pose, or you can do some hip circles. And then finding some stillness in that downward facing dog, opening the upper back by drawing your shoulders away from one another and down into your armpits. And then we're just going to step that right foot between the hands, bring the left knee down, untuck the left toes, and then just give a little press, like lengthen that left, or the right femur rather, out of the right hip. Bring the hands to the knee, shoulders drop down away from the ears. And then we're going to take the right hand down. If you had a block, you could reach for the block. You're going to squeeze your left glute. And notice that opening in the left hip flexor. Reach up and over towards the right with the left fingertips. And then come back up, both hands overhead, and then reach in the opposite direction. And then come back up. And then on an exhale, you're going to bring your fingertips behind the ears, elbows open wide. Take an inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, draw the elbows in towards one another. Some gentle chest openers here. Inhale, elbows peel open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. Let's do one more. Inhale, open, chest lifting towards the ceiling. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Windmill the palms down to frame the right foot. Tuck the left toes under. And then step the right foot back. Downward facing dog. Let's just take some more pedals with the feet. Feels so good here. Just move with intention. And then look forward and step your left foot between your fingers. Lower the right knee down. Bring both hands to the left knee. Imagine lengthening that femur out of the hip bone. Tuck the tailbone under and give a squeeze into this right glute to feel that nice opening in the front of this right hip. And then go ahead and bring the right hand up, bicep in line with your ear, left fingertips reaching towards the mat. You really have to continue to squeeze that right glute here as you stretch up and over towards the right, feeling that amazing opening in the psoas, the front of that right hip. And then inhale, bring the left hand up to meet the right. And exhale, stretch up and over towards the right. And then inhale, bring the hands up. And as you exhale, you're going to bend your elbows, bring them shoulder height, and then rotate the palms so that they face back and the fingers face down towards the mat. And then bring your hands to meet behind your back. We're going to do that one more time. So scarecrow arms. Bring the fingertips back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, elbows pull out towards the side. Rotate the fingertips down towards the mat. And as you bring the hands behind you this time, bring the opposite hand on top. And then go ahead and come back up. Bring the hands overhead. And then windmill the palms down to the mat. Tuck the right toes. Step the left foot back. And we'll come into our last downward facing dog here. Again, opening the upper back, allowing the neck to relax and just kind of sway side to side. And then either from your toes, from a plank, or from your knees, we're going to come gently down onto our belly. And we're going to do a little bit of shoulder work here, a little more. We're going to bring the arms out in front of our shoulders. And then you're just going to bring the elbows back down into your side. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, palms stay on the mat. Lengthen. Exhale, pull the elbows back towards your side. One more, you can lift your head too if that feels good. Inhale, palms trace the mat. Exhale, elbows bend. Now extend your arms out like a T. And we're going to bend into the left knee. And we're going to bring the left toes over towards the right. So this is a hip opener, low back twist. And if you'd like to take it into a little bit deeper of a shoulder opener, you're going to bring the left hand up towards the ceiling and in the direction of the right. So really deep shoulder opener on this right side and on the left side as well. Continue pressing that left knee open. And then go ahead and carefully bring the left hand back down to the mat. Roll back onto your belly with care. And then re-extend the left arm like a T. Bring your left ear to the mat, gazes towards the right. And you're going to bend the right knee and you're going to bring the toes to the earth behind you, opening up into that hip. And then if you'd like to feel it a little bit deeper, you're going to begin to peel open those right fingertips. And as you do, press into the outer edge of that right foot to open the knee. And some people can reach this hand all the way back. I cannot. And then go ahead and bring the right hand rather back to the mat. Bring the right leg back. And then let's just close in a child's pose. So you're going to press back up. You're going to bring those big toes to touch. Knees out wide. And if you'd like a little bit of a tricep, upper back opener here to end, you're going to rotate your arms so that your thumbs face up towards the ceiling. Bring your palms to touch, and then bring those thumbs to the back of your neck. And you can walk the hands out a little bit more. Thank you for joining me for this 20-minute flow to give your low back some love, to open up the shoulders, open up the hips, and just reconnect to yourself. Until the next time we see each other, friends, be good. Look for the good in the world and take good care.